I've worked the night shift at the 24-hour gas station for almost a year now. It's not glamorous, but it pays the bills, and honestly, it's usually pretty quiet. Most nights, it's just me, the hum of the fluorescent lights, and maybe a trucker or two stopping by for gas. But last night was different. It was around 3 a.m., that time when everything feels extra still. I was leaning against the counter, scrolling through my phone, when I heard the door chime. I looked up, and this guy walked in. He was tall, wearing a baseball cap and a jacket that looked too big for him, like it had belonged to someone else. His face was pale, gaunt even, and he didn't look at me. He just shuffled over to the aisles, moving like he wasn't in any hurry. "Evening," I said, but he didn't say anything back. I watched him as he wandered through the store, picking things up and putting them back. Something about the way he moved. It wasn't normal. It felt too slow, too deliberate, like he was pretending to browse, but didn't actually care about anything on the shelves. Eventually, he came up to the counter with just one thing: a roll of duct tape. I felt this weird twinge in my gut as I rang it up, but I forced myself to smile. "That'll be $3.25, I said. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled $5 bill. When I gave him his change, his hand brushed against mine. It was cold, like really cold. It made me flinch a little, but he didn't seem to notice. Then he spoke, and his voice was low, raspy. "You work here alone?" I froze for a second. Something about the way he asked made my skin crawl. No, I said, trying to sound casual. "My co-worker's in the back." He tilted his head like he was thinking about what I'd said. Then, without another word, he picked up the duct tape and walked toward the door. I felt a wave of relief when the door chimed again and he was outside. But instead of leaving, he just stopped. He stood there under the parking lot light, right at the edge of the shadows. He wasn't looking at the road or at his car. He was staring back at the store, at me. I tried to ignore him, but my heart was pounding. Minutes passed and he didn't move. I almost grabbed my phone to call someone, but what was I going to say? That a guy bought duct tape and was standing outside? Finally, I decided to make it clear he needed to go. I walked up to the door, staying behind the glass, and waved him off. "We're closed," I said loudly, even though we never close. He didn't react. He just stood there staring. Then, after what felt like forever, he turned and walked away. But not to a car. No, he walked to the edge of the parking lot and disappeared into the woods. I locked the doors after that, something I never do, and spent the rest of my shift jumpy as hell. Every creak of the building made me flinch. When my shift ended at dawn, I told my coworker about it. She just shrugged and said, "Probably a drifter." But I could tell she didn't really believe that. On my way out to my car, I noticed something in the far corner of the lot. It was the duct tape he'd bought, ripped open and lying on the ground. I don't know why, but that freaked me out more than anything else. Why buy it and just leave it there? I drove straight home, and I don't think I'll ever work the night shift again.